Well, hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, wherever you are. Greetings and salutations. Thank you for being here with me and lending me your time, energy, and your attention. Today is Friday, and so naturally that means that this is Fridays with Phoenix. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about a topic that someone asked me to bring up in one of the social media groups that I'm in. The topic is the Astral Library. And the Astral Library is specifically an activity, an exercise that is a part of the training in our second degree manual. Everyone who has gone through the first and the second degree has come across the Astral Library at some point or another, because it is pretty early on in the text in the book. It's I would say it's lesson 5 we found. Yeah. So me and Lady Alyssa were looking for this earlier in preparation for this discussion. Yeah, it's in lesson 5 of the second degree manual. And just for the sake of it, I will encourage any of y'all who might be watching any platform that you're watching on, go ahead and use the chat feature and weigh in the discussion. I would love to know what you think about this particular activity. Again, the Astral Library is a second degree activity, and it's in Which School? Lessons for the Second Degree. This one right here is my signed copy, of course, signed by my uncle. The Astral Library, it's listed in also in the Spells for the Second Degree, which is the Witch School course that corresponds to the second degree manual. And so the Astral Library spell will be in there. But first things first, the Astral Library is an activity or an exercise that is meant to get you comfortable with astral projecting and spending time in the astral plane. And the Astral Library is an opportunity for you to master a very important lesson when it comes to the astral plane. You ready? I'm going to tell you. This might not be like shocking to a bunch of you, but some of y'all might be like, oh shit. There's a part in this spell that talks about the way the Astral Library looks. And the one who is doing the astral projecting, the one who is doing the meditation, is allowed to really determine how the library looks based on what they will connect with. And the text says it could look like an old wizard's library, gothic, and what have you. It could look like a regular library right around the corner from your house. It could look like the library at Alexandria. It can look like the library of Djibouti with all scrolls and parchments and all that. It can look however you can connect with it. The reason why is because the Astral Library does not have a form. We have to give it a form in our mind in order to understand how we are interfacing with it. That is true. That is the mystery for the astral plane in general. Everything that ends up manifesting in the physical plane has to be in the astral plane first. It has to manifest in the astral plane first. And the astral plane substance gives things form based on our mind. So our imagination literally gives form to all of the things in the astral realm. When we astral travel and we bump into things, in order for us to understand that we are interfacing with something else, our mind gives it a form. the form that our mind gives it might be based on vibration, it might be based on mood, it might be based on a lot of various data that is above the actual library lesson. We get to that when we start to talk about the various ways that souls split apart and emanate. But for the time being, right now, just understand that on the astral plane, our mind gives everything form so that we can interact with it. Meet your spirit guide on the astral plane. Your mind is given your spirit guide form so that you can understand that you are interfacing with something. There is a principle that is attributed to Jehuti, to Thoth, and it is that all opposites are resolved in the mind because literally any and everything can exist there. Something that is hot and something that is cold can exist inside our mind. Something that is bright and something that is dark can exist inside our mind. We can perceive that. Something amazingly delicious and something dreadfully disgusting can be observed and translated through our mind. Our minds have the ability to resolve all opposites. And that is, I think, probably the astral library, I'll say, is one of the fun ways to master that lesson or master that principle, is to go ahead and interface with this construct or with this intelligence in the astral plane that can literally give you access to all the information that you might need. How does your mind get you to understand this? For a lot of us, a library is the structure that we go to build our knowledge. It might be a university. So your astral library might look like a university. It might look like the school that you went to. It might look like the one that you wish you had gotten into. Either way, your mind must give the astral library form on the astral plane so you can understand that you are interfacing with something. And the form that you give it is going to help you remember the information, remember the vibrations, and integrate that power in an attuned way into your life once you leave the astral. That's how you bring information back. That is how you exercise the attunement when you get back from the astral. Applying what you have learned, maybe doing some more research because your trip to the astral library gave you a bunch of hints on something that you were working on is very important to you. Applying what you have learned is how you attune yourself to this new frequency. When you get into your astral library, how do you see the knowledge inside? Is it a bunch of those scrolls? Is it a bunch of micro discs that are plugged in and you just got to go and like get your chip and put it into something else? Like, is it very technological? Is it antiquated? Either way, what does the construct look like on the inside when you are getting closer and closer to the knowledge? And how do you program your version of the astral library to respond to your needs? Does the specific shelf glow and you're like, that's where I gotta go? Like, do you meet your higher self there and your higher self is the librarian in the astral library? Like, just like a little, idea on how to reconcile the higher self stuff that I've been talking about for the past couple of weeks and this second degree activity of going to the astral library. You can charge your higher self or ask your higher self or agree with your higher self to meet in the astral library where they can locate magic manuals or scrolls or parchments or papyri or what have you that have some hidden information that might be beneficial for you. Once you come out of the astral temple and you get back from your astral travels, maybe you remember a bunch of the keywords, maybe you remember a bunch of the symbols. those all act as things like rabbit holes that you can go down so you can recreate the knowledge here on the physical. You can make as many trips back and forth to the actual library as you want to, as you need to get as much of the message back and maybe onto a physical piece of paper or into your journal as you need to, so that you have your complete idea. Maybe you want to get some help researching the cultural life of the Delphic oracles. You want to know what they did to pass their time when they weren't actively serving in an oracular period. You want to know maybe how they incorporated their style and their food into their clergy training. Like maybe you want to learn that. So maybe you go to the Astral Library and you ask for some information that can lead you in the right direction. Maybe your Astral Library has a video room and you're like, oh, Delphic oracles. Pop that into your little Astral what have you and view what your mind has to show you about, what you are asking for. Leave the library, leave the Astral, do a little digging and do a little searching and see where some connections can be made. And now you have your answer and you have, some confirmation on your previously unconfirmed personal gnosis. You can utilize the Astral Library to help you with your magical clergy studies, as well as any other studies that for some reason might not be included in like your magical or priestly studies. For me, it's all the same. Again, like I've been talking a lot about my dedication to the Kemetic pantheon, to the Nibiru, and for them, the clergy, the priests were also the physicians, the judges, lawmakers, so on and so forth. So I believe that a priestly education is remarkably rounded and that there is room for the study of biology, chemistry, physics, earth science, as well as philosophy and diplomacy and all of these other things that goes into a well-rounded clergy education. And so if you have any of these other interests and you are studying them, you can maybe go ahead into the Astral Library and find out some more about that philosophy that interests you. And maybe as a way of using your energy the best way possible, you can make some of the stuff that you find out in the Astral Library things that help you for your second degree final project. Just a thought. But either way, finding the Astral Library is like a fun adventure. Like it's not meant to be stressful. I know that when you are in your clergy training and you've got some goals to reach and you want to make sure that you stay on time and all of that, and you start to fall into the trap of thinking that like somehow you have control over when Goddess says it's time for you to be initiated. Ha 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 ha. Don't worry. Like it's a thing. A lot of people really, really fall for the year and a day when it comes to the training. And don't worry, like we all get over it. But like just say for a second that you have fallen into the trap of, yep, I'm gonna be done in a year and a day. And you are so set on that and you are not paying attention to, maybe what the lessons are showing you as far as like you need to work on before you move forward. One of the things that might happen is like you might struggle to get into the actual Astral Library. And if you don't have a good working relationship with your mentor, like you might not be comfortable saying, hey, like I find it, but I can't get in. Like, what is this about? And if you don't bring this up, then your mentor can't be like, hey, actually, it means that you need to take a chill pill for a second. Maybe you need to engage in some relaxation. Maybe you need to de-stress. Maybe you need to heal your relationship with your studies. Maybe you need to heal your relationship with your last lesson if that was a disappointment to you. But either way, not getting into the Astral Library is not something that you have to stress over. And actually, stress is one of the quickest ways to knock you out of love with your training. These are not meant to like stop you up or hold you back. They're actually meant to facilitate the opening of your mind so that you can more easily trust the feedback that you get from yourself. The astral library activity is an activity in astral projecting. So the better you get at getting to the astral library, you can take that to mean the better you are getting at just arriving at the astral plane. The fact that you get there, even whether or not you get in, you've gotten to the astral plane and you figured out how to get the substance to appear as something that you want. Another little fun tip, trick, or mystery is that like you don't actually have to go traveling and exploring and moving through the astral plane. You can, you absolutely can, in the same way that you can travel through and move and explore the physical world. It's even easier in the astral. However, because of how powerful the mind is and the interaction between our third eye and the astral plane, we don't actually have to go anywhere to find what we're looking for in the astral plane. We can just arrive there and then have our minds create what we are looking for out of the substance right before us. The searching is for the adventurous spirit. Like we want to confirm something for ourselves. We want to know as much as we can about the lay of the land. But really, once we realize we're there, the stuff that we want, need, or are looking for or trying to manifest, like it's really an immediate kind of response to the mind. Hopefully that is helpful. The techniques that you use to get into a meditative state are also helpful and beneficial for the managing of cortisol and stress in your body. The deep in through your nose, inhaling the love of the goddess and exhaling limitations absolutely helps you shift from fight or flight into the rest and digest, helps turn off the alarm signals in your mind. And a lot of times when people do sit down to do meditation and the complaint of course is, but my brain starts doing brain things. Yes, of course it does. If your brain is working appropriately, you start becoming aware of all of the brain things that are going on when you start to pay attention to literally just yourself and your breathing. And you start to quiet on purpose or dampen on purpose all of the other stimuli in your environment. Yes, you start to become aware of your mind and you start to become aware of how automatically it gives form. The automatic thoughts, the painful memories, all of these other things, you can consider them as substance splashing in and out of the waters of noon. For those of you who are on the Kemetic path, like the noon, the waters of noon, that is where creation rose out of in the form of Atum in some of the mythologies. You can think about the stuff that occurs in your mind when you close your eyes and focus on your breath. If it starts to get loud in there, consider that that's the stuff jumping in and out of your conscious awareness. It's neither good nor bad. It just is what it is. And eventually, if you just let it do what it does, it stops. And when it stops, you are at a different place of consciousness. And from there, you can decide if you want to go deeper or if you want to stay there and do some ritual. So, getting good at getting to the actual temple, learning to meditate, turning the music off, turning the guides off, turning the voices off. Stop being afraid of your own mind. Stop being afraid of your own head. Lean into what it says and learn some stuff about yourself. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Actually do it. Actually do it 3 times a week, and you will start to notice that you are doing better. Your perspectives will start to shift automatically. There is going to be an increase in oxygen to your brain. Your mind will start to become a little bit more clear and a little bit less foggy. Some of the stuff that comes into your consciousness when you start to do this, you might not like. A lot of times your brain might be like, you know what, you really need to quit smoking or you really need to quit drinking. or you should probably give up that cocaine. Like a lot of times, once you start to settle down and really get into it, and you really start to connect with your own spirit, your brain will start to tell you, your mind will start to tell you all of the things that you got to do to purify yourself. And that is okay. You don't have to run from it by putting headphones on or turning on music or doing drumming. You can listen to the stuff that your mind is bringing up to you. Eventually, your mind will quiet and you will be in that meditative space. And you can either decide to act on the feedback that your brain has just given you or continue on with your purpose for meditating, which is to find the astral library. Then, once you get to the astral library, you can rely on your higher self to be like, hey, that stuff that your brain was talking about as you are on your way here, there are some things in this library that can get you situated. Or you can be like, hi yourself, yep, just went through a lot to get here. I know you know, but I still want to play. Can you show me stuff about whatever it is that you are interested in? However, you can use your insight and feedback with the astral library to help you magically and help you with your clergy and priestly goals. And you can utilize your ability to get to the astral library and all of the vast information that's in there to help heal the karmic attachments that might be painting your life. I'll say the astral library is for us what AI is for people who do not practice magic. And it doesn't take up all that water. I hope you found this discussion on the astral library helpful. I hope that you are looking forward to this activity if you aren't doing it yet. And if you haven't done it in a while, I challenge you to go ahead and head into the actual library, consult with your higher self, and ask them to illuminate a plan to help you level up in the next year. I mean, if you want. Love y'all. The next time that you will probably see me is going to be around Monday, Tuesday-ish for another morning daily devotional, higher self themed, of course. But until then, love you lots. Talk to you later. Blessed be.